Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rusty 78609. I'm just leaving truck stuff in Burnett, Texas, where we got the wiring hooked up for my Toad, and that's what we're going to talk about. Is tow vehicles, towing a Toad or tow vehicle using a motorhome RV. How about that? Do I know a lot about it? No. I'm learning every day. This is all new to me, so it'll be good for you to know, and that'll help you if you decide to use a Toad. But be that as it may, there's a whole lot that goes on whenever you decide to use or go to a Class C or Class A or whatever and have a tow vehicle. I'm finding that out. For example, first of all, you got to decide on what kind of tow vehicle you want. All right. Then, once you decide on that tow vehicle, you want to find out if you want to tow it all four wheels down, what they call four flat, or you want to use a tow dolly or a trailer or whatever to tow it. Those are decisions that have to be made. And then you have to know whether the vehicle you're going to tow can be towed four flat. Most manual transmissions can be towed four flat. Most automatics cannot be towed four flat, and that's the way that goes. And then you get to the next level. Let's just say you get the motorhome or whatever that your tow vehicle. Then you get your Toad, whatever that is. Then you've got to get a hookup of some kind. Let's just assume that you're going to tow it four flat or all four wheels down like I am, since I'm a little bit familiar with that now. Then you need to get you a hitch. If the weight of your vehicle is under 3,000 pounds, you're in pretty good shape nationwide. As to whether or not you'll need a brake controller, that's another thing. But up front, you're going to need a base plate on your tow vehicle, and you're going to need a hitch. Now, I went with Blue Ox for the hitch and the base plate on my Chevy Spark LS manual transmission, which I can tow all four wheels down, which is good. Makes it easier to hook up. Do I need a brake controller? No. There might be 3 or 4 states in the East Coast that I might need it if I ever go there, which I want. And there is a way to find out if you need a brake controller by just checking RV tow vehicle laws. Okay, just do a Google search for that. It'll bring up some stuff and tell you which states require what. And in my case, most states that I go to, in fact all of them, are, if the vehicle weighs under 3,000 pounds, no brake controller is required. That's in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, etc. And that covers me totally. So those are just a few of the things. Now that gets you the tow vehicle, or the motorhome, the tow vehicle, ready to hook up. And then, of course, you got to learn how to hook it. It's really simple to hook it up. I mean, there's nothing to that. You can learn that in 5 minutes. And as far as using a tow dolly, that's a whole different thing. I saw a Class A today towing a vehicle on a trailer. Just a full trailer that you drive the car up on, and that's a whole new ball game. That looks like a lot of work to me, because then you got to strap it down, be sure it's stable and so forth. So. That's a whole new thing. But for me, the Blue Ox hitch base plate on the Chevy Spark works fine. And then, of course, the cost of the tow vehicle, that's totally a variable. In my case, I bought a new Chevy Spark 2021 LS manual transmission delivered for like $12,200. The dealer was called American Chevrolet out of Killeen, Texas, and you can get them fairly cheap. They're inexpensive, I'll say that. And then what else do you need? Once you get the hitch hooked up and the lights working and all the stuff, then the next thing you're going to need to look at is something to keep rocks and debris from being thrown from the tow vehicle tires, the dualies, on your to your tow vehicle, your towed, and maybe chipping your glass or your paint or whatever. And you know, they make some like mud flaps that go all the way across the back of motorhomes and Class C's. You screw them to the bumper. You can. I'm going to do mine a little differently. And they also make what are called brush or broom like affairs that hang on the back bumper. They're just they're not solid. It's just a lot of loose threads hanging down, or string, or whatever, made out of plastic. And I'm going to go with the broom, a brush type for my RV. Why? Just because it's easier to install and I got to do it myself. And I'm not going to screw it to the bumper. I have a way that I'm going to attach it, which I'll show you when I get the broom or the brush and attach it. Then I'll show you how that works. But I'm trying to keep everything fairly simple so that it is easy for me to hook up the tow and tow it away. You know, for me, in the Chevy Spark LS manual transmission, the only thing I have to be sure of before I pull away, well, a couple of things. First is that the vehicle is in neutral, number one. Two, that the emergency brake is off. I don't have to leave the key in the on position because my steering wheel is not a locking steering wheel. All right. Now, if you have a car that has a locking steering wheel and or other things, then you may have to leave the key in the on position. It also says in the owner's manual that you need to disconnect the negative cable on the battery. And of course that is for all vehicles. Now I'm going to find out. I may try it without disconnecting the negative cable. Why? Because nothing is going to run down. You know, it's not like it's going to kill the battery towing it down the highway. You know, I mean, I let it sit out 2 or 3 days at a time without starting it, and it's fine. You know, and towing it down the highway is not going to drain any power from the unit because I'm not going to have the key or the ignition key on in the on position. So, for those of you that are going to get a motorhome type vehicle and you're thinking about getting a towed, or maybe you have one already, then you know, there's just a lot of things that are a lot of pieces of that puzzle that come together to make that a workable program. And you know, of course, when I first got my Class C, this is the first motorhome I've had, I really wasn't sure I wanted a tow vehicle. All right, and then after using it for a couple of months, it occurred to me that yes, having a tow vehicle would be convenient, so I went ahead and purchased the least expensive auto I could find. Again, it's a Chevy Spark 2021 LS manual transmission. I mean, it's basic, bare bones model, but it works good for me. 46.7 miles to the gallon right now. We're in the Spark cruising down the highway right now, and about 60 miles an hour. But as long as you keep the Chevy Spark under 60 miles an hour, you'll get over 45 miles a gallon. Now in town, it goes down a little bit in the city. But having said that, what else can I tell you? Yeah, it's like any other choice you make in life. I mean, whenever you make a decision to go a given direction, you start a chain of events in movement, and then you have to connect all those links in that chain of events to get your situation completely resolved so that you're able to do whatever it is you chose to do. And in my case, it's to use a tow vehicle when when driving my Class C motorhome. But anyway, with that in mind, guys, do I like my Class C? Yeah, I like it a lot. And having a tow vehicle is so far, I think, going to be good. I haven't towed yet. I will tow in the next few days, probably. There's one more thing we got to accomplish on the wiring, and that's everything works. The blinkers work, stoplight works, emergency flashers work. Everything works except for some reason when you have the headlights on, the tail lights don't work. So he's contacted Blue Ox to find out what's causing that issue. They tell him they're going to call him back, but he's got a solution. You know, you can drill a hole in the side of the tail light and put in a bulb if you have to, and we may end up having to do that to resolve that. But you know, do I need tail lights? Not really, because I don't do any night driving at all. But you know, there may be a cloudy day or a foggy day that tail lights would be a good thing to have, and I want to be. I'd rather err on the safe side than not. So we're going to go ahead and get that done here in the next couple of days. But anyway, guys, having said that, on my way to get groceries in Marble Falls, this is Rusty78609 saying thumbs up. Carpe diem means seize the day in Latin. Carpe diem, adios, bye-bye. Buy anything you want, anytime. But if you think about it, use the link to Amazon products in the description of all my videos. Why? Well, you know, you just click on the link, go to Amazon, buy whatever you want, and Amazon takes care of me. It's just a few pennies, but a few pennies times a few equals a few more pennies. So anyway, drink plenty of water, stretch, walk, keep your health, and enjoy your life the best way you can. Anyway, adios, guys. Bye-bye.